Well, it's Tony, hiking into retirement. Welcome to part 2 of my adventure to visit every beach town in the state of Florida. Can I repeat that? My attempt to visit every beach town in the state of Florida. So this is part 2, starting at Perdido Key and probably trying to make it down to Mexico Beach. So let's get started. Well, day 2, and I'm boondocking in the Walmart parking lot. So I think I'm in the town Navarre. I think that's how you say it. But so when you're boondocking in the Walmart parking lot, you need to make sure you check with them and make sure it's okay. So he said, yeah, for one night you can boondock in the parking lot. So I'm gonna get Sandy all situated for the night. That pulls out to a bed, microwave in here for a microwave dinner, and doesn't look like it's too shady around here. So we'll check you out tomorrow, see what tomorrow holds. So sleep tight, see you tomorrow. Good morning from the Walmart parking lot. This morning I just kind of want to show you my little homestead. So we'll start. This is what the inside of Sandy looks like. As you can see, pretty snuggled up inside there. Those are window coverings to cover up the windows at night. There's a microwave, a Jackery charging system, solar charging system that runs everything in here. Pretty cozy. Let's see. Bananas that I bought at Walmart. Oranges, which is a little stove, refrigerator. This is my bathroom, I guess, or my, yeah, has my toothpaste, toothbrush, water, deodorant. I got a couple little shades that close it up at night, and here's the solar panel that runs the Jackery system. Like I said, it's pretty cool. My Creed, here's my favorite stickers. Creed, Colorado. Just hike and be happy. Silverton. And be hippie. Oh, and let's not forget hiking into retirement. And then on the other side here, oops, here's my 2 5-gallon tanks of water, which I need to fill up because I didn't bring water tanks filled up with me down here. And like I said, the stove and stuff, and those that's pretty much it. So hey, so I made it to Fort Walton Beach. You know, I'm kind of skipping the big well-known beaches like Pensacola Beach. I'm driving through the bigger areas, but just not spending a lot of time there, kind of searching for some more quaint little places. Here behind me, Okaloosa Pier, I guess that's how you say it. Pretty cool. So the sand is just beautiful here. Hey, thanks so much for all the comments and stuff. I like that people are chiming in saying, hey, I used to live there, go here, go there. It's pretty cool. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying in touch. So I know a bunch of you are gonna go, yeah, so what'd you expect? But I just came through Destin and Sandestin. Wow, there's some traffic there. Whew. These aren't any little sleepy beach communities. Man, oh man. Took me an hour and a half to get through those two cities. Like I said, I'm sure some of you are going to be going, well, of course, what'd you think? So I think we've made it out and heading towards Panama City, I guess. So stay tuned. Place is called Inlet Beach. Kind of a cool place. It's all cool. Okay, I think I just scored some water, so just got to get one of my tanks out and go for it. How cool is this? It's to wash your feet off with, but that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, seriously, I can't tell you what a blessing that was to find basically 10 gallons of water just at Inlet Beach. So now I can take a shower. Got them all filled up now. I didn't want to carry them from Illinois and have them freezing, 2 big bricks full of water. So pretty cool. Hey, so we made it to Mexico Beach. I was here years ago. Beautiful little place. And if you don't remember, 4 years ago, this place got destroyed by Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael was a Category 5 that took a direct aim at Mexico Beach. And as you can see behind me, remnants still 4 years later, I'm sorry. Just look at those trees that are just snapped off there. Just incredible. As you drive through Mexico Beach, every house, every business, you could tell is new because the whole town was just flattened. So my goal here today is, you know, I know it's a few years later, but I'd love to talk to some people that went through it. I've never talked to anybody who actually went through a hurricane. So yeah, hopefully somebody sit and talk to me, but I'll try to get more pictures of what it looks like now. So stay tuned. Hey, it's Tony with Hiking into Retirement. Boy, do I have a treat right now. I'm in Mexico City Beach in Florida. And for people who don't know, Mexico City Beach was destroyed by a hurricane 3 years ago. And I have the privilege of being with
Tasha.
Tasha. Tasha is one of the people that actually rode out the hurricane.
I did.
Thank you so much, Tasha, for sitting here talking to me.
You're
and
welcome.
hey, thank you for the beer. I appreciate it. So, unbelievable. So, I have a channel called Hiking into Retirement, and I just go around talking to cool people that have cool stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking to a few people in Mexico City Beach here, and they told me that you were one of the people that I need to talk to, that you actually rode out the hurricane.
I did. Right here. Right here.
Unbelievable. So just so you know, we're in a RV park, right?
Right.
And you had an RV here?
No, I have a mobile home here.
You
There's
have
a
a-
mobile home park in the back.
Okay. And that hurricane hit 3 years ago. 4 years ago. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Yep,
So
2018.
So as I drove through Mexico City Beach, it looks like all new houses and new buildings and everything. Wanda inside was telling me that there wasn't a house or anything standing after the hurricane.
There was a few, but they were few and far between. But I don't know how many to say that survived, but the majority of the houses here were destroyed.
Oh my God. Hey, I'm sorry to do this, but do you want to go back 4 years ago and tell me what that day was like? Like, how did it start off? Did you guys know the hurricane?
We knew it was coming, but right up until that night before it hit, they were talking it was going to be a Category 2. Well, I've ridden out Category 2s before, so I didn't think anything of it. And then I got a phone call about 11 o'clock saying, you need to go because it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Well, I still didn't go because I worked at a restaurant here and we were going to open up the next day. And, even if we didn't have power, just to cook the food so, it wouldn't go bad and feed the people that were still here. Lo and behold, did we know it was going to, it just decimated the whole town.
Can we stop 1 second and go back to this? I'm sorry about this, but I have to keep asking questions because I know my viewers want to know this. Most of them have never ridden out a hurricane before.
Right.
But how many hurricanes have you been through? And number two, how long have you lived in Mexico City Beach?
I've lived here 20 years.
20 years. And how many hurricanes have you?
So I've gone through a couple, just, minor, Category 1, some tropical storms. I mean, it's like not a big deal. We evacuated for one. I can't even remember the name of it. And when I come home, I had damage to a screen door. That was it. So it was like, now I'm not going to go anywhere. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
So as the hurricane was getting near, you were still working until what time? 11 o'clock?
Well, no, I was at home. It was the night before, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
That my boss called me and said, it's going to be bad. You need to leave. She said, I'm leaving. You need to go. And I'm like, no, I'll be all right. I'll be fine.
But everybody was leaving, right?
A lot of people did.
Even Wanda said she left.
They
She grabbed her
left,
dogs
yeah.
and everything.
Yeah, a lot of people did leave out of here. But, and a lot of people did evacuate. There wasn't, I don't know how many people actually stayed. There was 14 of us from the park that did stay.
In the park here you stayed?
Yeah, there was 14 of us that
And
stayed.
you stayed in this building behind us?
Yes.
The concrete blocks and everything?
Yep.
And how many of these trailers, did they get all destroyed?
There was one on the corner back there that was split open, wide open. And there was an elderly man that lived in it. And he was still trying to live in it after the hurricane. And we finally got him an RV to live in. Unfortunately, he passed away last year.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. As the hurricane was getting closer and closer, when did you start realizing that, okay, this is gonna be worse than we thought? Okay.
If I remember, one of my friends that was staying here called me about 10 o'clock in the morning and said, hey, you better get over here now. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be over in a minute, and because I did, I come over.
Okay.
But it was, a little windy, a little bit of rain. It was nothing major yet. But then about an hour later, it was bad. I mean, you couldn't see anything. You couldn't even see the fence. Standing here, you could not see the pole fence.
And you could hear all the trees coming down?
Well, we were standing out here.
You were standing, okay.
We were standing out here, and we're literally watching the trees fall.
And I bet it was just, the noise was just incredible.
Yeah, the noise.
So,
and it seemed to last forever.
So say that was 10:30. About what time did you say, why did I stay here?
Right.
10:45?
When the noise wouldn't stop, and they kept saying the eye's coming, and it never really stopped here. It was like we didn't even get an eye, because you get when the eye comes over, you get a calm, and then it starts back up.
And how long do you think it lasted?
I'd say about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours.
3 or 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So then you guys came out, say, what, noon?
About
1 o'clock? 1 or 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
And what did this place look like?
It looked like a bomb went off here. I mean, there was just trees everywhere. Some of the motorhomes had trees on them. It was just a mess.
And how many people from the park stayed in this building?
There was 14 of us.
14 of you.
Yeah.
And
there was one crazy man. There was one crazy man that actually sat in his, he had like a caravan car, a Dodge Caravan, and he actually sat in the car and rode the storm out.
Oh my, that is incredible.
Remember Skip?
Yeah.
I was telling him about how he,
and this is Donna, and this is Wanda. They're the ones who
in the car.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So then you're sitting here, and you guys walk out, and then what's the next thing you guys do? There's no electricity, no water, nothing.
Nothing. There's nothing.
No food or.
I went home, and actually I had a handle of Fireball, and I cracked that baby open.
I survived. I need a
shot.
Fireball. Okay.
It just sat on my stairs. It was like, what the hell?
Unbelievable. And so how did you? What was like that night like? What did you guys sleep in here? Did you guys try to go back to?
No, I slept in my house. And my house was fine. I didn't have hardly any damage to it. I was very lucky. But
and vehicles?
my vehicle was fine.
So then you go into town. When do you make the trip into town, or could you get into town from here?
I went into town the next morning on foot.
Because the trees were.
Yeah, you couldn't drive anywhere. And so it was going over trees, under trees, watching out for lines and stuff. And I got down and I made it to the bridge, and part of the bridge had collapsed. And someone had already put boards there so you could walk down one side and walk up the other side. And when I got up to the other side, I saw a red roof, which is what I thought was the restaurant I worked at. And I was so excited to see it. And when I got closer, I realized that it wasn't the restaurant. My restaurant was gone. Gone. There was nothing but floor tiles left.
And did you look up and down the street and it was gone?
There was a Toucan's restaurant right by the bridge, and it was gone. And there was kegs of beer in the road, and bottles, everything. It was just like building's gone. But here's this.
And 98 was just destroyed.
Yeah, that was right on 98.
And Wanda, I'm going to ask you too. So you're the one who was telling me inside what it looked like. There wasn't a building standing. Nothing.
Not that I seen, nope.
And your story is...
I got the thing on my phone where we rode down 98 like this.
We're going to jump back to Tasha 1 second, but you were telling me, so as you heard the hurricane coming, you were like, okay, I'm not going to do this. And you packed up a couple of hours before the hurricane hit, and you went, I'm out of here.
Out of here. We was out of here.
And tell me the story, what happened.
The hurricane followed us to Dothan, Alabama.
It went all the way
hit there.
Went all the way up to Alabama.
It went all the way up north. It went further on up.
And you went 2 hours away because you thought you were going to be safe
we
there.
thought we'd be safe there, and then come back here.
And
We had 3 pair of shorts.
Yeah, we had 3 pair. We had 3 pair of shorts.
3 pair of shorts. So you stayed gone for how long?
When did we come back down here the first time? Was it 2 or 3 days after? I know the trees were out of the road up here, coming in here. They were out of the road then because we made it down through here.
We had to show proof.
Yeah, we lived here.
Oh yeah. What did they do to you? You had to. Everybody who lived here got a wristband.
Yeah, you had a wristband and you had a little thing to go in your car.
And that was the Army or the National
Who was
Guard.
it? National Guard. Who was it that was doing it up there at the
National
bridge?
Guard.
National Guard. National Guard.
Just an incredible story. Again, Tasha, thank you so much for this. But and going back 4 years ago to this, but just so many people, including me, just can't imagine what it's like to go from, okay, you have everything, you have all the comforts that we all have.
Right.
What happens the very next day? So you go walking into town and you have no job now.
No.
You barely have food.
No.
You go to your house, there's no water, there's no electricity.
No.
What happens the very next day?
And we just kind of, everybody kind of grouped together, and we just kept, hanging out with each other, trying to keep spirits up, and then I don't know. It was just you don't think about it because it's like there's there's nothing to do. It's like
There's no money coming in. There's no
nothing.
tourists coming by. There's just
It's nothing.
just a bomb went off.
Yeah.
And then how long before people start showing up? Like, hey, are you guys okay? Looking for,
I'd say the next day.
like, the National Guard came in, or just the local police department?
People. I'm not sure who it was that would coming, and what they were actually doing was a search and recovery. They were looking in all the houses that were still up, even though they were damaged, to make sure that there wasn't anybody in there, deceased. Or there was a house that was, and it had just been built that summer, and that house ended up completely across the road. It was beachside, and it ended up completely across the road.
And people's stuff is everywhere.
Everywhere.
And animals and...
Yep. I have, I call her my Hurricane Kitty. She's a minx, and she showed up at my door about 2 weeks after the hurricane, and she was missing one of her front legs.
Oh my God.
And it was all bloody, so I assume that she lost it in the hurricane. They set up back there water and food and clothing distribution center.
People from surrounding towns came in.
The Red Cross. It was a lot of donations, and the National Guard was up there, and they had ice. And then the city also had a place where we could go and pick up some food. But we'd all like get in a car and go together instead of all of us going one at a time.
Unbelievable. It's just an incredible story, and like I said, I heard about the hurricane years ago, and now just to be driving through and beach, and then to finally be here and see all the progress it's made, it was just something to be able to talk to somebody who actually wrote it out.
Right.
It's just incredible. I can't thank you enough for reliving that. That's pretty incredible.
Right.
So I got to ask you this question. Would you ever do it again?
No, I will not.
Never ever
I
do it
will
again.
not, no.
It was that scary.
When they say leave, I'm going to leave. I mean, we were without power for 3 weeks, just as long without water. So no, I wouldn't stay again.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Mother Nature is
Yes.
too powerful for
Yep,
us.
it was. So no, I won't do it again.
Yeah. Well, I can't tell you enough. thank you so much for reliving this. Thank you. I'm sure everybody who sees this will just feel your pain of going back to that day, and I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So let me give you a hug here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks again for doing that. I appreciate it. So incredible. Man, they're just great people wherever you go. Wherever I travel, it just seems like God puts these great people right in front of me. So I drive through Mexico Beach today. Just love the little town, and right up my alley. So I want to stay here, but there's a strict ordinance that nobody can sleep in a car. So I pull into this RV park, and I start talking to the ladies, Wanda, Donna, Tasha, and they're like, oh no, cops will even pull inside this campground, and pulled some strings and said, nope, you can stay here for the night. Unbelievable. Just great people. Man, I just love being able to travel around and just meet people and just know there's so many people with good hearts, and everybody has a story. And when you start talking to them and you let them tell you their story, just incredible. Just incredible. That was quite the story with Tasha. Just incredible what they must have gone through. But yeah, it's going to be a good night here. Feel pretty safe here. And again, cost me nothing. Just talk to some cool people. So good night. See you in the morning. How's your morning going?
Good, how about you?
Catching anything?
Oh, a few lady fish and a mullet.
And a mullet?
Yeah, I hooked the mullet. That's another thing, lady fish. Darn things. Them I could do without. But you know, the houses that were built back in 45 and the 50s and probably even through the 60s, they weren't built to hurricane standards.
Right.
And so when Michael hit right here, it just tore them up. I think there was 2,900 houses lost. So
What kind of fish is that?
that's a ladyfish.
A ladyfish?
Yeah.
Not
Kind of toothy, be like, and bony like a pike. So they're just terrible for getting baits and, you know, taking people's baits.
not good eating whatsoever?
No, good bait for fishing some other fish if you cut bait them, but I'm not after any of that. I'm just
Have you caught any of the fish that you're after?
not today, in the
Oh.
last few days, but they started dredging, so that made a little bit of a difference. I gotta retie that
What are they dredging for?
to open the channel so the boats can get in and out properly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it closes up, I don't know, almost weekly probably. So,
How long have you been in Mexico Beach?
well, actually I live in between here and Port St. Joe in what's called St. Joe Beach.
Yep.
I've had a place for, I guess, going on year 6 now. I still do time up in Michigan, but I spend a good number of months down here too.
Uh-huh.
Where are you from?
Right now I live in Illinois.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing a trip around Florida. I just left a few days ago from Illinois, and I'm visiting every beach town in the state of Florida.
Oh, well, that'll keep you busy.
Woo, doggy. It will. It will. So you weren't here during the hurricane, though?
I owned my place, had bought it several months before Michael hit, and fortunately it fared well.
Uh-huh.
But I had been back up in Michigan and came down right after the storm and got to do some yard cleanup and other things. And
Were you shocked to see what Mexico looked like, Mexico Beach looked like?
oh yeah, it was an amazing sight, and sad for the people that are here all the time. And a lot of people, I think, did the battles with the insurance companies, bless those insurance companies' hearts. And so it's been a war for a lot of folks to get themselves back into where they've got a place to live again.
I couldn't imagine what insurance must cost down here.
Yeah. I imagine that there's a lot of things, but a bunch of Florida insurance companies I think went bankrupt, and I think a lot of them left. Quit providing for the state, dropped people, and that's another lady fit. Oh, good, I got you off.
You didn't have to worry about it, huh? Hey, I'm here with Bob Chandler in Port St. Joe, and Bob, he's fishing here, and the fish aren't really biting, so he said he'll take a little time and tell me a little bit about Port St. Joe.
St. Joe's a very old town. It started as a seaport town back in 1840s.
1840s.
And it was it kind of went from prosperous to bust. There used to be about 5,000 people lived here at one time.
So,
and
you were born here?
I was born here.
What year?
1941.
1941.
And
what did your parents do back then?
Well, my father worked at a paper company. Just about everybody did back then.
How big was the paper company?
Oh, it was a big company. It was owned by the DuPont Corporation. It was came from up north there, and they just started a paper mill here and bought just about everything you could see around here at one time in the real estate. But anyway, my father helped build the mill. He was one of the construction people out there at the paper company, and then he stayed on to work at the mill for 20 years. So it's been a really nice place, small community, and like I said, it had a historic background, but pretty much a fishing community back in the early part of the century, in 1900s, and then up to about late 1930. About the only industry around here was fishing. A lot of commercial fishing adventures here. But anyway, it's a small town, real nice to grow up in, great place, and it was quite an adventure. We used to go out here and fish out in the bay in the weekends in the summertime as kids. But
how many people do you think lived in this town way back when you were growing up?
There might have been 2,500, 3,000. Maybe. That was spread all over the place. The paper company and they had a oil storage place here, and then they had a box plant here too. They used the paper from the paper mill. All of that was a good part of it was tied up with St. Joe Paper Company, which is again owned by the DuPont Corporation, or was at then. They had very rich people, but Mrs. DuPont used to come down here and spend summers here, vacation time, and she loved the place, and I think that was the reason really the paper company started here.
And how big did you say the paper company was?
Oh, it was a large mill. They
and where is that? Is that still standing?
over there where the you can see where the boat is over there, the big boat. That's part of the old property there.
Okay.
They tore it down, I think about 1990 something. But it had stayed here for a long, long time. But it was a great place again to live and grow up in.
And as you got older and stuff, did you work at the paper company too?
No, I was
Paper
offered
mill?
a job in the mill at one time in the lab, head up the lab. But I worked at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
So when did you leave?
About 12 years ago, came back. We left here in 1958 because my father went to another mill, and I moved around quite a bit.
And then you just brought you back to here.
Yeah, I just wanted to come back home. My wife passed,
I'm sorry to hear.
so I just wanted to move back. I've remarried since then, so it works out pretty good. Got some good friends here. And,
Some good fishing buddies, it looks like.
Oh yeah. And
how often do you come down here and fish?
not here so much. Mexico Beach area down there, pretty good bit.
So you said, explain to me what happened during Michael.
Well, Michael came in. The police went up and down the streets telling everyone to leave, that the hurricane would be coming in the next day. They didn't know it was going to be that large until a day or two before. And when the hurricane hit, we were gone, and we knew one or two people had stayed, but it was life-threatening. At where we were at, we had a 7.5 feet high storm surge come in, and of course it wiped out our place and just about everything around us.
Your house was gone.
Oh yeah, big gone.
And everything else, it just
Yeah,
demolished.
it pretty well took everything on the street there. There were a few places that they managed to repair. Most of the places you see down here now are new construction out there on the beach, and it's very expensive to stay here. Just about everything is going to be at least $500,000, and most of it will be over $1 million. So that's just part of it.
So what happened when you came back and your place was gone? Did you go? Where did you end up going?
Well, we looked around and found one house about a mile off the beach that wasn't destroyed.
Uh-oh.
And so
Hold on.
he got him one. Well, he got him a rock, I think.
What did he
Anyway, got him a rock.
Oh, he got him a rock.
I think he does.
Those aren't good eating anyway, are
No. Anyway,
So,
no, that's,
so you came back and it was gone. So what did you do the next day? I mean, did you?
well,
turn
we
around?
rented a place in Dothan, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Nearly everybody that had a place they were second homes, a lot of them, or if they were first homes, then people just went and stayed with relatives or did something about renting a place.
And did you rebuild?
No, couldn't afford to.
Oh,
The prices were astronomical after the storm to rebuild, and the requirements to rebuilding were pretty steep. So it just went anyway.
I heard a rumor that the whole town got pretty much wiped out except one house. Is that just a rumor?
Well, the one house you're talking about actually did get damaged.
Oh, okay.
There was a lot of misinformation about that.
Right.
But anyway, I lived on that street that
Oh.
that house was at. It did survive the storm.
Uh-huh.
It was pretty heavy construction, and it was pretty well built. And there were a few other places that were damaged, and people managed to build them back. But that particular house you're talking about is facing the beach down there,
Uh-huh.
and it was pretty close to the city pier.
Okay.
But anyway, there were practically everything in town was damaged one way or another. We
No
had-
electricity, no water.
Oh no.
The-
No, they utilities pretty well gone. Some of them had to wait weeks to be able to get any water.
and the National Guard came in and
Well, there was police, National Guard. There was just about everything you could think of that came in down here. FEMA sent their crews down here to clean up. So they were the main source of cleanup in
How
the
fast
city.
did they get down here?
I guess within a week or so anyway.
Okay.
I wasn't here, so I don't have any feel for that. But anyway, it's a nice place. And, it's a nice place to live if you can afford to.
So where did you end up buying a place after your place was destroyed?
It was about a mile inland.
Okay.
You know where you're staying off of 15th Street over there?
Yep.
It's pretty close to there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cute little market.
Some of
there.
those houses were, this particular one was not damaged.
I bet the houses that weren't damaged, the price tripled.
There weren't hardly any of them. I looked.
Yeah.
The price initially, well, there was a 6-month moratorium on rebuilding imposed by the city. And so a lot of the places, people just made do with what they could.
Okay. So when you came back, there was like no belongings anywhere? I mean, did you look for stuff of yours, or was it just
I looked
ground?
for a few things, but there was hardly anything left. It took practically everything. Have to have good insurance. A lot of my friends did not. So it presented quite a problem on rebuilding there.
Did you lose any friends or anything, or people that you knew?
Yeah, it was a lady that worked at the corner grocery, 7-Eleven there, and I don't know what caused her to stay, but she even turned down the opportunity to leave. But I understand they found her body back of my place back over there.
Oh my!
So yeah, there were people that died, and some of them stayed. And some of them wish they didn't stay. It was terrifying, you know. Here in St. Joe was the same deal. We had flooding over here as well.
And this pier got just destroyed.
You talking about the city pier?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the city pier is here in Mexico Beach. You know, they've got a sign down there that said they're going to rebuild it, which is not going to happen anytime soon. But anyway, that whole pier got taken out. The U.S. Geological Survey came in and put a monitor out on that pier and put one on my street right in front of my place there too. And it pretty well told how bad it was. If you can find that, anybody wants to look it up on the internet, you can look up some reports that were done after the hurricane came through and about the damage that it was caused, that happened there.
The lady I spoke to yesterday said that she spent her life going through some hurricanes, but after Michael, she would never do it again.
Oh no.
Did you do the same? Did you go through a few hurricanes in your lifetime that you rode through?
Oh yeah, I've been through some,
But not like
not that
one.
bad. And of course I didn't stay. But it was quite a thing, and it did an awful lot of damage. And again, there were people that just completely lost everything they had. So there wasn't anything that you could do about that.
Unbelievable. Well, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate you sitting here and talking with me a little bit. And I've interrupted your fishing, and you probably were going to catch all kinds of fish until I came along.
Well, you're probably going to move down the road, but if you're around on this Sunday at 10 o'clock, we have, I'm one of the ministers, and we have a church out there at the City Hall.
Doing God's work down here, huh?
Well, yeah, it's, I had been in ministry for about 50 years. So, anyway, but at the University of Alabama, of course, I was a researcher. I worked for a state geologist out there. That's anyway, we do have a little church called Resurrection Fellowship. When it comes through town, welcome to come to our services out here.
Well, greatly appreciated. I can't thank you enough for
Okay,
taking
no
your
problem.
time. I thank you very much.
Sure.
And
Okay. Well, what's your first name now?
my name's Tony.
Tell me. I'll remember your first.
I'm Tony with Hiking into Retirement.
Okay. Well, that sounds good.
Okay. Well,
All right.
get back to fishing.
All right. Sounds good.
So I'm still in Port St. Joe. I'm spending the night here. A good guy right back here, but he doesn't want to be on camera, said I could stay in his parking lot. So let me show you the view that I'm going to have tonight as we're sitting here drinking a few beers. Yeah. And then I'll show you my accommodations for tonight. Beer. Hey, cat. So that'll do for me for tonight. So check you out in the morning.